Broadcasting live from the True Crime Today studios to the world. This is Murder in the Morning with Tony Bruschi and Stacey Cole.
From the Hit Killers Podcast, Murder in the Morning.
Luigi Mangione. We're going to learn a little bit more about him today. And kind of what was going on leading up to the killing of UnitedHealthcare CEO Brian Thompson. I've been following the case somewhat loosely, but I've been diving into it in the last week or so. His family had reported him missing weeks before the incident and helped identify him from surveillance footage. That's according to law enforcement sources. Mangione, who's 26, of course, is charged with that second-degree murder for the targeted shooting of Thompson in New York City. The attack, believed to be motivated by Thompson's role in the health insurance industry, occurred during an ambush-style assault that launched a nationwide manhunt. Missing persons flyer revealed Mangione's family reported him missing to San Francisco police on November 18th. So right around Thanksgiving, stating they last spoke with him on July 1st. The family said that he had been working in San Francisco before losing contact. The breakthrough in the case came after the San Francisco police linked Mangione to surveillance photos widely distributed following the killing. The images showed a person of interest tied to the crime, prompting a $60,000 reward for information. San Francisco police tipped off the FBI on December 6, believing Mangione resembled the man in the images. 2 days later, they contacted Mangione's mother, who told investigators she thought the person in the photos could be her son. Mangione was arrested on December 9th in Altoona, Pennsylvania, after being recognized at a McDonald's restaurant. Bob had a really good point the other day on this.
What's that?
That this idiot clearly doesn't frequent McDonald's in the United States. If he did, he would know that every freaking McDonald's has like a coffee clutch of old men.
Yes,
that just
do.
Sit there all day, and it starts early and it goes late. And it's just an all-day thing, and they come and they go and they bitch about things, and they talk about the weather and everything, and they watch Fox News, and they're well aware of what this guy looks like because they're all talking about it because it didn't happen all that far away. Altoona, Pennsylvania's only I believe 200-ish miles, so they're all talking about it. And then they kind of recognize this guy because he has a very distinct facial structure, and they're like,
and those eyebrows. Yeah. Don't forget those brows.
And they're like, Herb's eating his hash brown and sipping his coffee. He's like, holy shit, Doug, look at that, isn't that holy shit? They're pulling out their phones and shit and looking up his picture and dude, I think that's him. And then they come and arrest him.
Have you ever been sitting somewhere and there was not a wanted poster, but somebody was being looked for, and you looked at someone and went, I think I've seen this person before. Have you ever been in that kind of situation?
Yeah, I couldn't tell you specifically, but I think I've seen it I've done it with a missing poster once. I remember you see it was after I had already seen the person that was missing. It wasn't I see the poster and then I thought I saw them later. But it was gosh, that person looks familiar. And it was I think that person was in line, with me at something, whatever I was at the day before or something, or it looks a lot like that person. But that's all
That's a scary prospect.
Yeah.
But yeah, Bob is 100% correct. And I actually, one of the McDonald's in the city I live in, I know of at least 2 doctors that go there before they see patients.
Mm-hmm.
And they just sit and gab. And there's other men who join in. it's just a thing. That's
they
for some reason what old men do.
They get really greasy hands from the hash browns, and then other men join in and get their hands greasy on hash browns.
Oh, no.
And then before you know it, the hot fudge machine is broken again, and nobody can get ice cream because God knows what went on in the playroom in the fun land.
Nobody ever gets ice cream. I don't know what you're talking about. I mean, it's never up and running, so it's not like it ever worked in the first place.
It's a myth. Like, it's going to be one of the, that's going to be a, it's the, okay, now I lost it again.
The Mandela effect.
Mandela effect. Yes. The Mandela effect. That's kind of, what's going on there.
It's very possible.
Yeah.
Very possible. I think I saw somebody somewhere in Wisconsin where I live that I thought was a wanted man.
Mm-hmm.
And he came into the vet clinic when I used to be a vet tech. And I remember going out, I did the intake, questions, history and whatnot of his pet. And I walked out and I walked up to the doctor and I said, this guy is giving me some weird vibes and I think he's like a wanted man.
Mm-hmm.
And she laughed and she goes, oh, shut up. And when she came back out, she's like, something's really off about this guy. I'm like, I'm telling you, I think I saw his poster in the post office.
Yeah.
But that's probably the only time I've ever felt like I've seen this guy before. And I know it's not for a good reason.
Yeah.
But can you imagine being Luigi's mom and seeing those pictures? Every mom knows what their child looks like.
Yeah.
And she went, oh, shit.
Yeah.
That's my son.
Yeah.
She had to have. I mean, the eyebrows, the facial structure.
Mm-hmm.
How could you not? And there's two pictures there's one picture where he doesn't have a mask on.
Mm-hmm.
And he's smiling. What mom isn't going to know that gorgeous smile? And yes, I just said that out loud, but he did have a beautiful smile.
It's another.
I'm not crushing on him.
Well, here's another fun, sick fact of the world. More money has now been made on the GoFundMe or Kickstarter or something for the defense of Luigi Mangione versus for the families of Brian Kohberger victims or alleged, Brian Kohberger.
That's sick.
Yeah.
This what he did though, and we don't need to go into the whole, shooting of a CEO of a health insurance company, but it struck a nerve because it wasn't just, it was a random shooting of sorts, but
not really.
The reactions of Americans were not random. We all have a story.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Brian Thompson is somebody that represents the evil that we wanted to go after. And this guy took it a step further. I mean, we've all been angry at our insurance companies for some shit. He took it a billion steps further than any of us would have done. But there's some collective anger out there.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, nobody knows like much about Brian Thompson and the thing is, it's like he was a human being. But he's looked at more as like representing something more than the person that he was. Is he evil for being the CEO of a healthcare company? I don't know. I mean, if you're doing evil things, sure. But, was he directly responsible for evil things happening? I mean, these companies this large have a hell of a lot of people in other positions that make decisions beyond the CEO. Does the CEO steer the ship? Yes, without a doubt. But there's, it's a publicly traded company, isn't it?
I think so.
Yeah, I mean, so they're out to make money. That's what we have going on here. So anything that's out there to make money is going to make money. I'm not excusing it. I'm just saying that's the rules that they're allowed to play within in the United States. If we all don't like that, then we need to talk to our Congress people and collectively change our laws so you can't have a for-profit health industry if you don't want it. And if you don't want it, then what happens next will be whatever happens next, however that turns out. I'm not saying good, bad. I don't know. You'd hope it would be good. But ultimately, if those are the rules they're allowed to play in, that's what they're going to do. No one should be shocked that these companies are making all of this money. It's sickening. I think it's horrible. While they literally do horrible things like this with the AI, trying to pick who should be denied or just deny until they wear you down or you wear them down. It's a fucking game of chicken. Yeah, it's hell. I've never had a positive experience other than with the doctors themselves. But when it came to the paperwork and the billing, never in all of my adult life have I had a good experience in any of those areas. It's always something's messed up, something's wrong, and you're the one that has to try and catch it. Sometimes they'll catch some, but ultimately they don't. And there's a lot of surprises, like right when you go in, like, okay, well, if you pay this up front, then you're only going to get billed this, and it's like right when you're about to like go in for surgery or something.
Right.
They approach you at the most weird moments for very important questions. And you can barely understand it, even if you weren't completely preoccupied with about to being cut open. But it's a weird thing. We certainly have a horribly broken system, so you can totally understand people's rage. I get that. But you don't want to live in a world where, vigilantism is what's taking things out or is what's, I don't know this is going to fix anything. And then some will say, well, if more happen. I don't know. I think the result actually just might be these people are going to get a lot more security because that's a lot cheaper to them than changing their policies. Their policies will change if our government and our legislature make them change.
Yeah. And, unfortunately, maybe he's collateral damage in this fight.
He is.
And I hate saying that out loud, but something big had to happen, and it did. And it shouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
But now they're paying attention, aren't they? It's not enough for us to lodge a complaint. Now they're like, uh-oh.
Well, here's the thing. The worst thing for the healthcare companies is the fact that Luigi Mangione looks like he could be on a fucking romance novel cover. Because now people are going to pay attention to this story. All the other shooters, if you look like Ted Kaczynski or something, it'd be fucking done. Like or at least just like some average Joe or just some, like Newman or from Seinfeld or something.
Yeah.
Like no one would care. The story would be done by now. The only reason people are really watching this and it's getting the clicks it is because he's on it. Other stories of the same ilk do not usually continue to perform like this. And I'm not trying to use really cold language. I'm just expressing the interest in the story and why it's there. And the topic too. It's a pretty, fierce topic, but the fact the guy looks the way he does is really what's driving this.
Well, and it is. There's the memes and the jokes and the story and the fact that people are donating money to him. Are they donating based on looks? Are they donating based on frustration with the healthcare system? Probably
both, or one or the other. Some just depends on whatever. But this is why it's not good for the healthcare industry is because of his looks. This is going to keep growing. The coverage is going to continue on this very, very strong all the way to when this goes to trial. It will be covered heavily. And then it's just going to continue to, reinforce the idea in everybody's mind of like, okay, yeah, big evil healthcare company. And people think of him like a Robin Hood. He's not. But that's the image. And it's just going to keep pounding the healthcare industry, their image down. And that's probably a good thing. Having that just constantly being, this is bad. This is like, what are you going to do about it? What are you going to show and come out within your PR and say, we've heard you. Here's ways we're changing. That's how you would diffuse this. But it has to be real. It has to be sincere. It can't just be a bunch of fluff words that are really you're doing the exact same thing, but you're renaming it. You really have to show ways that you're going to change and the nightmares that people have gone through and speak to how they may have happened and why this is not going to be happening anymore.
Very true.
And it has to be really transparent. Are they going to do any of that? No.
No.
But, I mean, if you want to, they're a necessary evil. That's the thing. You have to have them. So if you have to have something, there's not a lot of room for improvement because do you have a choice between some healthcare providers? Maybe. And that's a big maybe. There's areas of the country, I think when I just recently lived in, was like that. You had one choice. There was only one that was provided on like the markets and stuff if you were independent. And meaning you're not working for somebody, so you're buying it on the open market.
Right, right.
And that's all there has to be. So sometimes you have no choice whatsoever. So it's like, this is what you get. And they can charge whatever they want. And within reason, but whatever they want, if you can afford it. If you were of a lower income, you would certainly get discounts. But if you're not, then guess what? Healthcare, here, can you please give me $2,000 a month just to have healthcare? That's where I was. And yeah, it's just nuts.
It is nuts. Even when I worked at the vet clinic, they did offer insurance. It was a corporate owned vet clinic.
Yeah.
I think I was paying $875 a month. Let me tell you, I wasn't earning a lot. And my deductible was $7,000.
Yeah. And then you got that. Then
basically, it was catastrophic insurance. It was. It is.
It's exactly what catastrophic insurance used to be. I don't even know like what catastrophic is today.
No.
I have no idea what catastrophic is today. It must be like really, I don't know. It could be a lot of ways.
I almost wonder if it wouldn't be cheaper. I mean, there was one year that I did hit the $7,000 deductible because I had a back injury and we did a lot of procedures and things. But that's a lot of money for somebody who's not earning much. And
I don't think catastrophic would cover the mandate.
No.
So.
Nope. Yeah. No, it would not have. So we have a broken system. It is time to take a look at it and see what we can do to fix it.
Yeah.
We shouldn't be having to talk about murdering CEOs to get their attention. There's such a disconnect between the people who really need the help and the people who are way at the top. Nobody's hearing each other. You know? Yeah. It's a sad state of affairs right now.
I think you had a very, very unhinged person. I think he's a raging narcissist from everything that we've seen about him. Everything image-wise is what he's doing. It's all about him. It's me. It's coming from a weird person that probably doesn't really necessarily have a reason to have this rage that he supposedly has against UnitedHealthcare, unless there's something we don't know, because they didn't even have UnitedHealthcare and no claims with them. I just think he's a kind of a narcissist with no limits, and this is where he went. Is it going to garner attention towards a broken thing? Is there a silver lining here? I think, that might be it.
I hope there's a silver lining because a man lost his life.
Yeah.
Family lost their father.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Let's hope something good comes out of this.
Hopefully it does. Hopefully maybe there's a little bit of a reckoning here because the villagers have their pitchforks and they're not happy.
You're neck deep in a dark, twisted tale. And just as the tension peaks, bam, a commercial about some miracle diet pill breaks the spell. It's like finding a fly in your soup after the first bite. But here's the fix. True Crime Today Premium Plus on Apple Podcasts. You get to enjoy your crime stories without the junk, ad-free episodes, extended interviews that go beyond the surface, and early access to all the gruesome details. It's like swapping out a can of cheap beer for a glass of fine whiskey. So search for True Crime Today Premium Plus on Apple Podcasts. Subscribe and keep the darkness flowing uninterrupted.